You're listening to Create Wealth Through Franchising, and I'm your host, Kim Daly. In my 20 years as a franchise consultant, I've helped hundreds of people achieve their dreams of building and scaling franchise businesses to create wealth. The interview you're about to hear can also be found on my YouTube channel, where I post new franchising content multiple times per week. Please take a moment to subscribe to the podcast and to my YouTube channel at kimdaly.tv. Now, enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Daily Coach YouTube channel. Oh, do we have a fun conversation for you today? We are going to be talking about some of the sexiest brands in franchising. I've got my great longtime friend, Mark Titcomb, who is the VP of Franchise Development, again, for some of the sexiest painting and flooring brands in America. Mark, welcome to the Daily Coach YouTube channel.
Kim, great to be here. Thanks.
I'm so happy to have you here, and I'm so excited that you're going to tell America why flooring and paint are some of the sexiest brands in all of America today. But before we do that, let's talk just a little bit about introduce yourself and your very long track record, but you're still so young. Your very long track record in operations and franchise development for some of the biggest brands in America.
Thank you, Kim. I'll keep this brief. It's been 27 years now. Crazy. Yeah, I started as a kid, clearly. Must have been 12, right? But it's been 27 years. Started, in the painting business outside of Boston, parlayed that into equity. So over the last 27 years, I've had equity where I've written checks, right, for ownership. And my wife and I, Karen and I, have also owned 5 of our own independent businesses. So both franchising and independent startups. So I can appreciate the power of franchising, having had those 5 independent experiences as well.
Let's talk about, you ended up in a painting franchise in college or just after college, correct?
Right, exactly.
Let's talk a little bit about the brands that you represent and the position they play in the franchise industry today.
Absolutely. Kim, the best way I can introduce it is with a book that most people have heard of and yet never read. All right. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. A lot of people have read that book, right? By Kiyosaki. Most people have heard of Millionaire Next Door and yet never read it, in my experience. It is a little bit like a textbook. Yet, coming out of some wealth and finance management background, I read this in grad school, actually in Boston, like you said. And then it was an epiphany. I'm like, why am I going to work hard building someone else's dream when I could begin working hard to build my own, right? So I started with College Pro painters. I think most people have heard of College Pro, and had a wonderful summer. 78 homes were painted in 14 weeks with that franchise. Incredible. Kids, right? Managing kids. I was still a kid. Bumblebee that shouldn't fly. That's College Pro, but it does, right? And then moved down to Connecticut. Did that on a grander scale, as you know, moved into that CertaPro painter world. And, we built this $500 million franchise on service. That's it. Only point of disruption. Serve the homeowner better. And now here I am at Floor Coverings International. And essentially what we've been doing, and by the way, for your listeners, they can type in FSV, Frank Sam Victor, and that's our family of companies. And they can hit max or all and go back to June of 2015 and see what our IPO was. And now look at where we are today. Okay. That's pretty exciting. Obviously, I've lived that trajectory and it's really been simple. I like simple things. Simply, it's been us disrupting around service. So as we've put forward a service approach, which is first service brands. All of us as homeowners know service is pretty miserable, right? When you get work done around the home, communication's terrible. We've changed that with CertaPro painters as we built a $500 million franchise, and we're doing the exact same thing here at Floor Coverings International.
So you built a $500 million company on service?
Yeah, in painting, right? How many painters, right? We have this gold standard, right, at CertaPro painters, And how many painters are there in your local market?
A lot.
A lot,
Everywhere.
right? In home improvement, there's numerous providers. One of the exciting things, by the way, Kim, about Floor Coverings International is we have Home Depot and Lowe's leading the charge in that flooring space. And once you get out of that big box, I mean, good luck, right? I mean, imagine them trying to serve you in your home. So that's been another exciting frontier for us, is disrupting the big box concept, kind of like what Amazon's been doing.
Hey, Daily Coach fans, if this franchise sounds like a fit for you, I would love to be your daily coach. Email me right now for a totally free consultation at inquire@kimdaly.tv. So as a franchise consultant, I meet the executive in career transition or the investor looking to kind of diversify and get into a new business. And, I take them through a process to understand their background and their skills. And so not one candidate in 19 years has ever said, do you have anything in the flooring industry? So
Right,
the
right.
characteristics that come to mind, this is what I find to make the connection. And then you tell me from your end how then you amplify that once I send the candidate to you. Because you got to believe the reason we're having this conversation is to kind of bust myths. I mean, that's what the Daily Coach is all about. Like, shining the spotlight, sharing the good news, helping people like break through their head trash, that they have to be in love with the widget in order to go build a very successful business. I mean, look, later this week, I'm interviewing a sister brand to you. One of the franchisees from Paul Davis, who's on par to build a $100 million company. Like, are you kidding? Like, so I can't wait to have that conversation. But so when I'm interviewing an executive, and I'm asking, questions about, I'm looking for leadership. I'm looking for assertiveness in a business like yours. You don't have to be a professional salesperson, but you do have to enjoy people. You have to enjoy leading and directing. I'm looking for people who want a simple operation with low fixed costs, right? So from there, like those are some of the characteristics, but you tell the listeners, like, why do people make a connection? Because it only takes one or two calls with you, and they're coming back and going, I can't believe I'm going to say this to you, Kim, but I actually really like that flooring company.
Right. Well, Kim, I think all of us like to be dumb like a fox, right? And get ahead of things a bit, get ahead of trends, and be that person that bought Tesla when it was $30 a share, right? Because you could see trends and change coming. Well, the E-Myth helped a lot of us do that by Michael Gerber, right? Where he described, hey, this is why most small businesses fail. People look for a hobby or something they have an interest in, and they get into a business doing that thing. Well, now they have one thing they know how to do, but hundreds of other things they have no clue about, like running a business. Kim, that is what's happened with home improvement. Candidly, is you have contractors very skilled at their ability to do that thing, that technical work, yet no clue about how to run a business. So what we've been doing since 1969 with California Closets, one of our sister companies, is disrupting by bringing in that entrepreneur, that professional individual with mature business systems, elevate them. They hire the technician, right, to do the technical work, yet, oh my goodness, the customer experience, the experience the staff have working in that business is so much better, and people start to rave. And then you get to your tipping point.
So we're looking for an executive who has the vision to
Yes.
build a multi-million dollar a business. We're not looking for the tradesperson who can install the flooring or paint the wall or go in and suck up the water in my basement when my pipes freeze and my house floods, right? We're looking
Right.
for that person who can take their executive skill set from corporate America, but now apply it in a business where they get to own it and control it and build that equity and that financial independence for themselves.
That's it. That's it, Kim. You nailed it.
That's exactly why you and I have placed so many people and
Yep.
changed so many lives. Just real quick, some of the backgrounds of some of the people that come to mind from
Sure.
both since we've worked with Serta and flooring, like some of the backgrounds, just to like hope,
Yeah.
open people's minds to like, oh my gosh, a person like that could own a business like this.
Well, Kim, I'm going to do that. And I'll add this piece. Every single one of them has had a passion for our vision, which is recognizing a customer's never going to forget how we've made him or her feel, right? So our real product is the experience. That's our real product. Just like it was for Walt Disney, right? And so many pioneers, Steve Jobs, right? Pioneers. So we've taken a few cards, from their deck. So think about this, nuclear scientist. Okay, we have one at CertaPro Painters out of Louisville, Kentucky. We have another up in Plano, Texas with Floor Coverings International, believe it or not. And by the way, both came from Franchise, your group. So, nuclear scientist, a gal that is proud because she put Starbucks on destroyer class ships in the Navy. Okay, she's in her second year, really technically first full year. She'll cross $1 million easy this year. She's built a team already because that's what she had to do with logistics and supply. We've got, corporate folks coming out of Fortune 50 companies, burnt out, tired of relocating, tired of the international travel that was so common, right? Just a little short while ago. Just incredible backgrounds. And one of my favorite segments has been folks coming from those hospitality fields, right? Where maybe they've been in the restaurant business or hotel business, rental car. Enterprise Rent-A-Car has been an amazing supplier of talent for us. Because what do they coach at Enterprise? Same thing, experience, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's so great just thinking about these really smart, highly educated people seeing the genius in a simple business model with low fixed costs that focuses on the customer experience, which is the greatest differentiator in a lot of these mom and pop trade industries. Like, boom, there it is.
That's it for big growth, right? You need to, like Elon Musk just said this 2 weeks ago, Kim. To be disruptive and grow quickly, you need to be a lot different from your competition, not just a little bit, right? You need to be a lot better. And that's what these guys at Starbucks figured out years ago, right? We needed to be a lot better where it matters. And that's what we're doing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, Mark, the second part of what I do as the daily coach is not just to kind of like blindside people with these sexy businesses that they're like, oh, God, did not come to Franchise or Daily to find a flooring company. But the second part of what I do is help coach people through their concerns over changing their life, stepping outside of their comfort zone, the uncertainty in starting a business. And I know you of many, many people that I know are masterful at helping people really embrace the change. So tell us a little bit about your philosophy. And when I asked you to join in this conversation, you said, oh yeah, let's talk about dragons and demons. And I said, dragons and demons, what is that? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely, Kim, because like you just alluded to, and you're a master at this too, by the way, folks have to figure out first the dream. And there's books written about this now, yet you and I have been coaching this for years, right? Figure out what it is for maybe the first time in your life, what it is that's important to you and your family. What will you have done over the next 6 to 8 years following SMART goal setting, right? That is measurable and you'll know you've lived. Around that Carpe Diem philosophy that Robin Williams brought from Dead Poets Society, right? What will you have done where you'll know you've lived? That's going to inspire you to battle and overcome, vanquish those demons, those dragons, which is fear, false evidence appearing real. It's going to appear very real to us when we're facing big opportunities and change in our life. So I provide, like you said, a lot of coaching around, hey, begin with your dream. Make them goals, make them reality. Because when you're motivated by that, like I was when I wanted to take my girls around the world for a year with my wife, Karen.
And you did that. Like, amazing, right? How many people have traveled around the world? The only person I know is Mark Titcomb. He actually did it.
right? And family were kind of the dragons a little bit, right? My mom, she's like, oh my gosh, you're going to be hijacked. You're going to be taken, hostage. I was having brother-in-laws teach me how to fight in close quarters, crazy stuff. And I'm like, guys, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. We had this dream. It changed our lives, will forever. My girls are now world citizens, right? They love the world. But we started out with that in mind, and that helped us take these calculated risks where my wife and I have been in 5 startups. We've had equity over 27 years in franchising. And by the way, we've learned why, Kim, what you do, why there are so many advantages around starting with a real seasoned, competent partner rather than starting a business on your own.
Hey, Daily Coach fans, if you're inspired by this conversation, I invite you to email me right now to explore this franchise opportunity. My email is inquire@kimdaly.tv. So, no matter how experienced a person is in corporate America, having worked for somebody else, or even in running other businesses, when you're about to step off into the unknown, there is always going to be a certain measure of uncertainty that is, you have to sort of confront that demon of, can I do this? And sadly, without someone like the Daily Coach, many people will get to that point in their franchise investigation and walk away. Statistically, that is the way most people will say, I looked at franchising, I never did it. Right. So
Right.
when they come to someone like me, and I can lead them to someone like you, and we can provide the leadership, and we can provide the stories and the experience, and get them initially focused on their why. That's the first thing I do. That's the first thing I want to know about somebody. And what's really funny is there's a lot of truly educated, smart people, maybe Harvard MBAs, and they come to the idea of owning a business, and it's all about the numbers. And I'm like, well, you're never going to say yes to a franchise because it's all about the numbers. Like, that's so, no offense, but it's so uninspiring. Like, I totally get when you own a business, the numbers have to make sense, but there's something bigger than behind the numbers that has to be driving that. Yes. Well, you're never going to get there. You're just going to keep looking at the numbers, and the numbers are never going to make sense enough for you to go, why, to do this, correct?
That's it, Kim. Ultimately, you nailed that, by the way. The question is, which is more inspiring your dream or inhibiting and encumbering the dragon or demon, the fear? That whichever one wins, that battle is going to determine whether you really start working hard to pursue your own dreams, or think about this, work hard helping somebody else achieve theirs, which is an employee, right?
So, I mean, I don't sit here all day and lead people to brands like Floor Covering International or CertaPro Painter or Paul Davis Restoration, your sister brand, right? Because they're waking up going, oh, yeah, like that sounds like my dream. It has nothing to do with that, right? Most of the time I have to say, no, look, trust the process, go on the blind date, meet Mark, hear what he has to say before you form an opinion. I mean, I have to really coach people to get to that first call, but it doesn't take more than 1 or 2 calls. When they start thinking less like a consumer, right, which is all the, the competition, or, flooring, I don't know anything about it, or I can't pitch in and do the work. And they start thinking like an investor and a business owner, and they start thinking about the executive skill set that they have. They start thinking about the simplicity of the operation. They start thinking that the key differentiator is service. Mm-hmm. And they see you've built a $500 million company on service.
Right.
They start becoming awakened and start saying, I actually could see myself doing this.
Exactly.
And then we have to coach them through the second part, the second wave of the process, which is oh my God, I might actually want to say yes to this. And now I've got to confront the bigger demon of, oh my God, am I really going to jump into the unknown? And this conversation is why there's a company called Franchoice, which I'm a franchisee in, and do business as the Daily Coach. And there are amazing leaders in franchising like Mark Titcomb that are here to help people, not sell you a franchise. Like, that's the last thing we do, right, Mark?
That's right. That's right.
We are not. If anything, we're selling
freedom. We're
Yes.
selling a dream for your life, and let us find you the vehicle that can help drive you to that point, which is infinitely more inspiring than let me calculate the numbers to see if this ROI makes sense on this investment. Right. And I say it like sarcastically to like, poke fun at it. I mean, certainly that's an important part, but it's not why we are leading nuclear scientists and truly smart, educated people to very simple trade services businesses who are going on with dreams of building multi-million-dollar organizations for themselves.
That's right. And Kim, I'll support just one point you made there of the many accurate ones is, a business is like a vehicle. It's designed, right, to take you somewhere. And their vehicles have different features. One of the things that, Kim, you and I take pride in is we've been entrepreneurs. We have equity in the things we do, right? So I want someone to join that's going to help further our objective, help us build, right, another successful franchise. If somebody's not cut out for those qualities necessary, I have no interest in bringing them on the team, no more than you would, right? We want them to thrive.
Yeah. And you know what, Mark Titcomb, you are one of the best at that. And that is an excellent point to like selling a franchise. Like Mark Titcomb is absolutely one of the probably most known franchise developers, from where I stand, who will absolutely come and say to me, hey, Kim, I'm not really feeling that this candidate is the perfect fit for our business. Maybe you could like guide them to another opportunity. Right. And Mark, when you say that, like, why are you saying it? And what
Sure.
characteristics is that candidate maybe missing for your opportunities where it lets you know this might not be the right fit?
Kim, that's a great question. And this is true across our brands, which, by the way, I'm so proud of the leadership we have as well amongst our brands. That's a big deal. Life's about who you're doing it with, right? Especially in life and whom we choose to spend our lives with and in franchising. So the leadership's a big deal. Yet, as I look at candidates, we need to be working with folks across our brands that are really interested in building a business that they can work on. Tongue in cheek here, Kim, I often refer to that as making ourselves useless, right? Where we can step back and let others be useful, right? To step in and fill their
But not
lanes.
be enslaved to what you've built on the opposite of that, right?
Right.
People worry, I'm going to buy a business and I'm going to have to work so many hours. It's like, well, no, not if you're doing it the right way and partnered with the right leadership team.
That's it, Kim. So, Kim, you and I like to keep it real. I mean, that's one aspect. At the same time, it's a little bit like having kids. For those of us who've done that, the front end of it, there's a lot of work. It's very rewarding, right? It's front loaded. So grit, Kim, that's another thing you and I both look for is that, hey, you're bigger than any problem you're going to face here. Yet, do you have the grit to overcome those challenges? Right? The more mature franchise systems are going to anticipate them and help you through them maybe a little more ahead of the curve. Yet, still, you need to have grit, with that dream and ability of building a team, an org chart. Those are a couple of the things for sure.
Yeah. And so it just drives home that point that this is a mutual evaluation process. Franchises are awarded, good ones are, they're not sold. And
right.
Franchisors do turn candidates down, not because they want to hurt somebody, but actually because they want to save you and them potentially a lot of heartache and maybe a lot of money.
That's exactly it, which you and I are not going to be party to that. So, right? We're here.
I only want to work with the winners in the group. And you know what? On that note, after 19 years, people will often ask me, are you going to tell me if I'm not the right fit for this? And I say, you know what? I'm not. Because 19 years of wisdom has taught me that I cannot predict who is going to be successful in a franchise. The number one predictor of success in a franchise is you, the owner. You are the person. How much do you want it? I can lead you to the best franchisors, Mark Titcomb, any of the first service brands, but it's what you wake up and do with that system. So we know the plan works, but what we don't know is how well are you going to work the plan? And that's going to determine whether you're successful or whether you're not. So your success, people often ask me, well, what are your statistics, Kim? What are your success rates? I say, I don't own any success rates. I've helped thousands of people, hundreds to become business owners, but I don't own their success. I don't own their failure. What they do with the moment when they show up with their franchise, it's 100% on them. And so it's on you. So Mark and I are here to guide your process. We're here to lead you to these businesses that in the beginning, they kind of hit you from left field and be like, I don't know if I want to do that. But I'm going to say, and Mark's going to say, hey, hold on. Some truly smart, educated people have said yes to this. Why don't you go talk to them and see why they invested in this business and the kind of life that they're able to live because of this business before you form the opinion that this is not the right thing for you. Right, Mark?
That's exactly it. That's exactly right. And Kim, you're part of a group that's vetted these franchise organizations, right? You go further and vet them as well. I mean, everything that's been done that could be done by a coach is done. Yet at the end of the day, I have to get on the track and I have to run my best race, right? And coach can have prepared me for every obstacle in that way, but then I have to get between my own ears and operate at my best. That's it. Yep.
No matter how great the franchise is, how successful the track record is, if it's your first time saying yes to this business, even if you've owned other businesses, if it's your first time, you will have to face some amount of demon or dragon or fear, whatever you want to call it. But that's why I'm here. The Daily Coach is here to kind of help you understand the process, help you understand what you're going to come up against and coach you through it. And I'm going to lead you to amazing people like my friend Mark. Let's thank him for joining our show today. Mark, thank you for sharing some insights into the First Service Organization and the brand CertaPro and Floor Covering International.
Kim, thanks again for this opportunity. Awesome. Lots of fun.
For further information on any of the First Service brands, how about we do this? Why don't you leave a comment below? That way I'll have the opportunity to make sure that it is the right fit for your skills and your background, that you're going to demonstrate that assertiveness and that grit that Mark Titcomb's going to be looking for when he starts to talk to you. And then if it's the right fit deemed by you and I, we'll get you in contact with one of his brands. So thank you so much for joining our show today, Mark. Thank you, listeners. I hope you've learned something here, and I hope that now your mind is open to some of those unsexy brands that a consultant may bring to you. For further information on these brands or any other topic that you have in franchising, please feel free to leave a comment below. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, I am Kim Daly, the Daily Coach.
If you found this inspiring, please contact me at inquire@kimdaly.tv. My consulting services are totally free to you. Again, that email is inquire@kimdaly.tv. I can't wait to hear from you.